Hey bays, it is story time. I am so excited and I'm gonna get straight to the tea, but first I want to say that I do not make it a habit of leading people on without them knowing that I am trans. Now, let me make one more thing clear. I am not required and I do not have to tell anyone anything. If you have a problem with that, you can get the off my channel and go somewhere else. My life, my experience, my genitals, my privacy, my rights all belong to me, and it is up to me to disclose that to anyone. Now, on to the tea. So I was in college and I was not transitioning at the time. However, I was pre-transitioning where I didn't know that I was trans, but I was starting to become very, very feminine. I did get mistaken as a woman sometimes then, but I was not identifying as trans and I had not started my transition. So I kind of was shocked by this and didn't think that I had to explain to this individual when this happened. So we're in college and we are in choir and we get this new piece, a Mozart song, Missa Brevis, I believe it was. We all loved the song. We couldn't get it out of our head. So one day we were in the cafeteria food court of the college. It was like 4 or 5 of us sitting at a table. And we started kind of just joking around and started singing some of the music. I think I had inputted the sheet music onto my iPad so that way it can play the piano part, and we were all like singing our parts to the accompaniment. And it got to the soprano part and I kind of jumped in and started singing the soprano part. This guy walks over. He is so adorable. He is about my height. He has hair down to his shoulder, blonde, beautiful hair, very well taken care of hair. His eyes are kind of like close together, but like in a cute way. He has very nice pink lips. They were kissable. He had like stubble. He was about my height. And I believe he was wearing like a shiny blazer with like button up and some like skinny jeans. And he's like, hey, I heard you singing from over there. I just wanted to come over and say that you have an amazing voice. And I was like, me? You're talking to me? He's like, yeah, you. I'm like, thank you. And so he's like, do you mind if I sit down here? And I'm like, okay, go ahead and sit down. All my friends are just sitting there like, my best friend at the time, he was like, hi, I'm Lewis. And I'm gonna call this boy Kyle for the sake of the video. Kyle goes, okay, nice to meet you. Anyway, so where are you from, Bebé? I'm like, great. So he clearly is interested in me and definitely like giving kind of like flirty vibes. So I'm like, I'm from Miami, we're talking, whatever. We're having a nice little conversation. It was actually a nice little conversation. He just stopped my whole like friend group session. Everyone's just now sitting there watching us two like basically flirting with each other. Eventually, I guess he realized he was interrupting us and he asked me for my info and I gave him my Instagram. Now, mind you, again, I don't know if I said that, but I was not transitioning at that time, okay? So my Instagram, the way I dressed then, like nothing should have made him think that I was a woman because I didn't identify as a woman at that time. I was clearly a gay male at that time. He gets up and gestures me to hug him. So I get up and we hug and he leaves. I sit back down and I turn to my friends. Before they could say anything, I'm just like, I have to go to the bathroom. They're like, what? What are you talking about? I'm like, I need to go to the bathroom. They're like, what's wrong? I'm like, you wouldn't even believe me if I told you what's going on right now in my pants. And they're like, whoa, what is going on? I'm like, no, not like that. Okay. My underwear are down to my kneecaps, and I'm wearing very tight skinny jeans. This is the first and only time this has ever happened in my life. I don't even know how it happened. And I felt them down there before I even stood up to hug him. I don't know what magic he pulled. Even with like the middle section of the pants there, my underwear were still like stretched all the way down to my knee. And I'm like, what the heck just happened to me? Am I in love?
Is this what love feels like? Is this what happens when love hits you? It just knocks your panties off? Like,
What is going on? So I go to the bathroom and fix myself, and I come back and we're all talking, and they're like, oh my God, what the heck was that? I'm like, I know. He's so cute. He's a musician. Oh, by the way, he told me that he plays violin and he tours around the world, and he was taking a class in our school, and he was performing in the concert hall of our school. We have a very big concert hall that hosts global talent and stuff. So I'm like, this is surreal. This is unbelievable. He's attractive. He's a musician. He's funny. He's a good conversationalist. Like, he's perfect. I'm like, I don't understand what just happened. I kind of get insecure, of course. I am looking through his social media and I'm seeing that he's like does this touring and stuff, and it has all these girls like over him and stuff. So I get kind of insecure, and I'm like, maybe he's not the one for me. You know, something's a little weird about him. I feel like he's probably, if anything, just wants to use me for my body, and I'm not about that. So I kind of like pushed him off of me and whatever. And we would just keep in touch on Instagram for years. For years, we were in touch on Instagram. We still follow each other, we still talk. But I mean, like 2 or 3 years, I knew this boy, and he would just relentlessly flirt with me through Instagram, ask me to hang out. And I'm like, no, you just had a fucking girlfriend last week, okay? You know, I'm like on watching his stories, obviously him cycling through girls. I'm like, no, that's never gonna happen. I mean, it wasn't that often, but like every time he broke up with one of his new girlfriends, he hit me up, and I'm like, no, I'm not your backup plan. I'm not, yeah. So I kind of was just insecure. He hits me up and tells me that he has a song that he always wanted to do, but he has no one to sing it, so he wants me to sing it. At that moment, that's when it clicked. You know, obviously, as I just showed you, I can sing high parts, but I'm like, this is a song written for a girl. I'm like, does he think that I'm a woman? That's when it kind of sunk in. No, there's no way. Probably like a year and a half after that incident, I actually did start transitioning. He started getting very serious about his pursuit of me. It got to the point where I'm like, okay, well, if we are ever going to meet up, I'm gonna have to have some kind of talk with him, because now I was transitioning and I was already questioning if he was thinking that I was a woman.
And now that I am a woman, it's just this weird,
confused gray area of what the heck is going on. So I'm like, definitely now I need to tell him at some point if we are ever to hang out. I don't tell people my tea unless, one, I actually am interested in you. Every guy that hits on me does not mean that I'm interested in them. But two, that we're actually gonna meet up. Just because I'm interested in someone and start talking to them, 75% of the guys that I talk to, I don't ever meet up with. They don't ever interest me enough. So I'm, at this stage, I'm just talking to him. It finally got to that point. He got very serious about me singing that song for him. And I was like, okay. So I sent him a snippet of me singing the song on Instagram. And Actually, yeah, and he loved it. He was like, let's meet up. You know what? I can sense that you're uncomfortable and about singing the song and stuff. So let's just meet up so you can just like get to know me better. And I'm not gonna pressure you into doing anything. I just want you to like actually get to know you. So I'm like, okay, now you're speaking my language, okay? Because I'm not about this hooking up stuff or whatever the heck you trying to do, or use me for my voice and singing or whatever is going on. But now you're talking my language, okay? So yeah, let's hang out. Let's get to know each other, okay? And take things from there, okay? And at that moment, I can tell him in person. So we planned a date. He asked me what I like to do. I told him I like to play video games. I like doing blah, blah, blah. So he was like, how about this? How about tonight I come over and we can play some video games and I'll bring some wine or something. And I'm like, how about not tonight? Okay? Because it's getting kind of late and that's already leading to stuff that I'm not okay with. So actually, let's wind that back and maybe let's hang out tomorrow. Okay? So he's like, well, I have work tomorrow, but how early do you get up? And I'm like, well, I get up around like, I get up around like 11 a.m. But I can maybe get up earlier, maybe like 10. And he's like, okay, so I'll come over to your house around 10. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'll make sure to be ready. So I didn't clean my room. I didn't do anything. I was like, I'm going to get up extra early tomorrow and clean. Okay, cool. We had everything planned out. I fall asleep and I wake up to my doorbell ringing. So I wake up and I'm like, what is going on? I'm like,
Is this Amazon? Hello?
so I walk downstairs. I didn't even look at what time it is. I think I caught a glimpse of it on the stove as I got downstairs, and it was like 6 a.m. So I didn't even think to look through the peephole first. I just kind of opened the door. Mind you, I'm in a bonnet. I'm not presentable, okay, in any sort of way. I open the door and it's him holding a case of like Smirnoff. And I'm like, what are you doing here? He's like, I came here early because I knew you wasn't gonna get up. He's like, I'm here, so let's hang out. I'm like, no, absolutely not. He's like, come on, I'm already here. I'm like,
Oh my god, this boy is psycho.
you just show up to my house at 6 a.m. with a 6-pack of Smirnoff? I'm like, what the heck is going on? So I tell him, I was like, absolutely not. You are not coming in my house right now. I have not cleaned. I have not showered. I'm not dressed. I was like, you're gonna have to go back to your car and give me a few minutes to get presentable. I'm sorry. So I sent him back to his car. He's like, okay, hurry up. And my sister was living with me at the time, and we were sleeping in the same bed. So I had to go back upstairs, wake her up at 6 a.m., let her know that some boy is downstairs for me and that I have to clean up the room just in case we come up to my room. So I hop in the shower. My sister's cleaning the room for me. I run downstairs after I get out of the shower, clean up the living room. I get dressed. I bring my Xbox downstairs. My sister asked for the keys to my car. She left. She didn't even want to be part of it. She didn't even want to be around it. I let him in. We're downstairs and we start playing video games. We're playing Halo. We're laughing. We're joking. We're talking about all kinds of stuff, getting to know each other. It was going very, very good. I was like, man, I really, 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 really like him. So I'm like, okay, I need to tell him at some point. So it kind of gets to a point where we played a few matches of Halo and it's like, okay, well, and we kind of just looked at each other and I'm like, okay, yep, this is my moment where I need to tell him what's going on. And he's like, hey, you want to go upstairs? And I'm like, oh God, why do you want to go to my room? Why do you want to go to my room? I know why you want to go to my room, but Why is this happening right now? So I'm like, okay. I'm like, sure, yeah, let's go up to my room. And so we go up to my room and he's like, do you like music? I'm like, yeah, I like music. So he puts on music. I'm trying to find a moment to interject and just be like, look, I'm trans. I don't know if you know that. He asks me if I like to dance. I'm like, yeah, I like to dance. So he's like, oh, okay. So do you want to dance with me? I'm like, okay. So I get up and I'm like dancing, like, yeah, doing a little 1-2 step. And he's laughing at me. He's dancing. And then he kind of like starts inching his way towards me. And eventually he grabs me and pulls me into him. And he's like dancing. And we're like salsaing and like doing all of these really like intimate dances. And I'm like, oh no, I am in trouble. That's when it clicked in that I was like, okay, he's definitely trying to put the moves on me. So this is where I stop things. This is where I stop things because I don't ever want to be in a situation. We have already crossed boundaries at this point that I shouldn't have. And I should have seen this coming and I should have been said something. But this is where I strictly cut it off. So I pushed him off of me. He's like, is something wrong? I'm like, yeah. He's like, is it something serious? I'm like, yeah. He's like, okay. He kind of started looking worried and I paused the music. I'm like, I really like you, your vibe, your energy, but I wasn't expecting to do any of this. And before we continue or go any further, I don't know if you know, but I want to make sure that you know that I am transgender. And his face turned white as these walls behind me. And he looked like he just got news that his parents died. And I was like, oh no. He had no idea. I'm like, I don't know how he didn't have no idea, but he had no idea. And he's like, yeah, I didn't know that. Tell me more about this.
So I was like, so basically I was born a man.
He's like, okay, well, I don't have any issues with that, but I want you to know that I'm straight and I like girls, but I still think you're cool and like we can still chill and hang out. And I was like, okay, that doesn't sound sincere, but okay. So we go back to playing music. We weren't dancing anymore. We were still talking. We started talking more about me being transgender and certain things. Eventually the energy just kind of died out, you know? There's not really too many places to go from that point. He was like, okay, well, I gotta get going. I have work. Yeah, he kind of left after that. Honestly, I didn't feel surprised about it. It kind of tickled me a little bit. Good thing for me, I didn't allow it to go on to anything else before I told him. You know, the second he pulled me in to like dance closer on him, I was like, nope. No, sir, first of all, this is not why we're here. I was genuinely just meeting up with him because I wanted to get to know him and get more comfortable about singing in the song. But clearly his mind the whole time was on other objectives. And I'm glad that didn't happen because I didn't want that from the beginning. I didn't want to be another one of his weekly girlfriends for the week or for the month. After that, he stopped flirting with me and hitting me up as frequently, but he still hits me up or whatever just to say hi. Why am I touching everything right now? I didn't feel like I lost anything because I was never sold on him and it wasn't a surprise to me, so I didn't feel hurt. All right, so that's it for this video. I'm always curious to know what you guys thought. Was I in the wrong? Was I in the right? And let me know what you guys would have done in this situation. Should I have even entertained the whole music thing, or should I have known from the start that he was just trying to smash and pass? You know, you live and you learn, whatever. Don't be afraid to comment, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, you guys know what to do. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Ja!